Hello guys, welcome to you all. So welcome to the today's session where we will learn how to build a data analyst resume, okay, and how to get a job with the help of this resume building, okay. So what do you feel when it comes to like building a resume? Like what it should be? So what comes to your mind? What picture comes to your mind? So the picture which comes to your mind is like resume should be in a way, it is a way of representing yourself. Like, so what pictures, what visualization comes to your mind, right? There should be a piece of paper where there we should mention our skills, where we should mention our background, where we should mention our experience, right? So which format it should be, and how it should look like, okay? And what is resume according to you? Okay, so resume is basically a way of representing yourself, and it should be catchy and attractive. Okay, what do you mean by eye catchy and attractive? Does it mean like it should add more cartoon characters, more funky type of stuff in your resume? No, it means that a reader or the person who is viewing your resume, he should attract by those points, right? So that positive points, that attractive point should be there in your resume. Okay, now certificate. Okay, resume is the first impression certificate which you have, where you will sell yourself with the help of that piece of paper, right? So what is that piece of paper? It is the first impression certificate where it will help you to sell yourself, right? So what we do in the job, okay, what we do in the interviews, we try to sell ourselves by showing the right qualities, by showing the our best parts, by showing our abilities, by showing our efforts. We help the organization to select us, right? We help the organization to select us. So that's it. Resume is the medium between you and your recruiter, right? So it should be a very good representation of your skills, of your activities, or of your experience, right? Today we are going to see what are the common mistakes in the resume, what should be the flow for the freshers of what should be the flow for freshers, how should be the flow for experienced players, and finally we will summarize all those points. Okay, so when it comes to common mistakes in the resume, we have found out these points. Like, don't use a pre-built resume template. A don't ever use a pre-built resume template, because everyone is using that resume, everyone is using that templates, right? So if you want to stay out of the market, if you want to highlight yourself, right, if you want to shine in that market, then it should be a correct representation of yourself, a unique representation of yourself, right? It should not be generalized, right? So yes, we have Google Docs. Okay, create a Google Docs. I'm a very good fan of Google Docs, where it should be, where you should represent yourself, where you should keep every point like which you want, that point should be present in that format, right? So that whichever client you move to, whichever HR you move to, you will be getting the right amount of information in the right location. So if you want to highlight your education first, you should highlight your education first if it is on the excellence part. If you have done something excellent in your life, you want to highlight that first, you should highlight that first, because your first impression depends on your first lines, right? So that should be perfect, and this is how you should represent your part. So that can happen only with the help of Google Docs and Microsoft Word, whichever you want to move with. But that is the one of the best part, okay, which you should start with. Then uh, we try to add more and more addresses, like, okay, we are moving to your addresses. So ki Jagat Chamber Ambedkar Square Vadama Nagar. No, 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 no. Recruiter don't need your address. He don't need your address. He don't want to come to your place. He don't want to share you any kind of letter. So it's pretty much fine if you don't mention your address. Okay. He will ask you if he is requiring. Okay. So no need to mention it. Right. Then avoid fancy mail IDs. right? What we used to do, we had fancy mail IDs, rockingboy007, papakepari@gmail.com. No. We don't need such fancy emails. Make it professional. Don't add numbers. Don't have multiple numbers. Oh, Rajiv R17744321. Don't do this. Don't do this. So these are the don'ts. These are the mistakes most of the resume has, right? These are the resumes. Most of the resumes have this mistake. So please try to avoid it. So these are the common mistakes which makes your resume a very low grade, or where it is not attractive, looks attractive to your HR, right? So it should be eye catchy, right? So you need to perform that steps in subsequent manner, right? No need to mention your marks. Okay, no need to mention your marks like 10th marks, 12th marks, your CG. No need. If at all they are excellent, right? If at all they are really good, and these are the points which you want to highlight in your resume, then you can move with it. Or else there is no need of mentioning your marks, because if at all they are mediocre, if at all they are very low, no need to mention it, right? So mark this point. Now, avoid not to mention very old achievement. Sir, I have won school level race in 6th class. Sir, I have won a bronze medal in school level for debate competition. No. We are good enough. हम काफी बड़े हो गए for this. So don't mention those. Don't mention very old details. Now you have done your engineering. Now you have done your graduation. So there is no need, right? So mentioning those old details, right? Avoid punctuation mistakes and grammatical mistakes, right? Avoid them, because an HR is a person who deals with resume on day-to-day basis. So he is very much sure which point we should keep at what location, right? Where we should keep which point at what location, right? So your punctuation mistakes and grammatical mistakes should be avoided, right? On the other hand, let's move to the flow of freshers, right? So how should be a flow of freshers should be like, how your resume should be for the freshers. So first, create and mention your LinkedIn ID, right? So wherever you are mentioning your contact details, under which you need to mention your LinkedIn ID. If at all you have not created your LinkedIn ID, please go and create it, okay? Then under your extracurricular, you should mention those points which are the most highlighted points in your resume, like how you are a quick learner, how you are hardworking, how you are a team player, how you can do multitasking, right? This all points should be represented in such a format in your extracurriculum, right? Like I was always associated with NFS, like I was always associated with a team of organizing in our college, so that it represents you are an initiator and you are like a team player, right? So this is how you should add some points which will help you to highlight those points, right? On the edge, and for the freshers, education comes first, right? So education detail should be mentioned first. And how should be your education details should be like, first you should mention your degree, then you will mention your years, right? And subsequently, if at all you want to mention, then you can mention your branch, from which branch or from which particular specification you did it, right? So this is how you can mention it. Now, mention your mention your team player and internship details, right? So if at all you did some internships, if at all you did some you were associated with some of the organization, try to mention those points, in your resumes, right? So that the recruiter get highlighted, okay, you have done this internship, so you are associated with some of the organization, so you know exactly the what works happen in the organization. So it tells how much connected you are with the market. So this will help the recruiter to understand your profile, right? Now, how should be the flow for the experienced player, right? So first your work experience will come, okay? First your work experience will come, where you will mention all the responsibilities you did, how you help the organization to grow. Okay, that all points you will keep. Okay, your company name. Okay, your company name. Then comes your tenure. Okay, so from this date, so this date. Don't mention your exact date. You can mention your month and year. That is more than enough. Okay, then job profile versus job achievement. So I will write, I am a marketing person. So I was working as a market executive where I used to market certain project, right? So that is your job profile. So that is not necessary. Like everyone knows, if you are a marketing person, so you must be doing some marketing stuff, right? But you should mention it like a achievement, like an achievement. So how you can mention it? So you can mention it this way, like I did in my marketing sales, I have taken 23% growth in the current organization. So this is how you can move with it. Okay, sorry for disturbance, guys. So this is how you can move with it. Then comes your, always mention your company name. Okay, always mention your company name. If at all it is a startup, if at all it is a new beginner company, always mention it, so that you can also mention your founder's name if at all it is a startup, so that your, and the HR will understand how much you know about the company, on what grounds you have picked that company, and what all points you have selected from that company, right? So this is how it helps you. Now, work achievement should be there in your work experience, not in your extracurriculum, right? So many a times, like in your extracurriculum, you mention, I was a part of one of your activities in your company. This is how the company got helped, right? So why you are mentioning this in the extracurriculum? These are the most important points of your resume. Why you are mentioning it under extracurriculum? It should be added in your work experience, right? So you help the organization to grow your to grow you help the organization to grow by 10%. So this point should be added in your work experience rather than your extracurriculum. So this points you need to understand. Now, summarizing all those points in one go, right? First, first you need to mention your resume. Okay, inside your resume, your name should be the primary part, which should be in bold and a broader point, right? So that your name should be given to any of the person. Your name represent your personality, right? So this is how you should start with it. Then comes your contact details. Okay, under your contact details, you will mention your phone number, you will mention your mail ID. If at all you have your LinkedIn ID, you need to create and you have to mention it. Then comes your website. If at all you have it, that's good. If at all no, you can create it or later on, right? That is the first point you need to focus. Then comes with your summary. Okay, always build your summary at the last. Okay, always build your summary at the last. The reason is, summary is your entire key points which you have gathered or in all of in your resume. That should you should mention those key points in your summary, right? So it should be prepared at last. Then comes your work experience, right? For the experience, as we have seen in the flow. If at all you don't have any work experience, that's fine. You can mention your educational background. If at all you are a fresher, your educational background, your skills will come into picture. Now, inside your skills, you will highlight those skills which are relevant for that particular job. So many a times, what student do, like student try to make a uniform resume for all the jobs, for all the profiles. So that should not happen, right? It should be distinct for distinct different profiles, right? So that you should focus upon. apart from that apart from that, what points you need to focus? You need to focus certain points, like how your points, like how your education details should be mentioned. First you will mention your degree, then you will mention your years, and then finally your specification. This is how you can move with it. Moving towards your skills, so which all skills you should highlight? So if you are moving for a data analyst profile, so you should mention your analytical skills, you should mention your decision making skills. problem solving skills, right? You can also mention your Python language. Okay, if at all you are moving towards your technical skills, you can mention your Python language, R language, whichever language you did, you can mention. You can mention your maths and statistics skills. You can also mention your mm, you can also mention your machine learning skills, your Excel skills, right? Power BI, Tableau, whichever visualization tool you have worked, you can mention those points, right? Apart from that, what all points you can look for? You can also look for the points like your achievements, right? So if at all you haven't worked on any of the internship, you haven't worked on any of the you don't have any work experience, then what you can do, you can move to Kaggle, get the data set, prepare your data set, try some try to add some insights on those data set, and mention that project in your resume. Once you mention those projects in your resume and you are able to highlight them properly, you can identify those points why you have added, and you can explain those points to your HR. No one in the organization is going to stop you to get in, right? So this is how your representation should be, and this is how you should add your projects to your resume, right? Now moving towards the next points, like your extracurriculum, your what your extracurriculum should look like. Your extracurriculum should look like your hobbies, okay, your activities which you have done, okay, which will highlight those points, like your team player, you are you are active person, you worked on different parts, so you are a proactive, like you are a quick learner. So this point should be highlighted with the help of extracurriculum rather than what you have done in your work experience, right? Apart from that, what all points you should focus, you should also focus on these points, right? I will repeat this again, right? Your resume should be different for different number of profiles. It should not be same, right? Then we will be moving to the other points, like so if at all you have done your internship, so what all you will be mentioning under that internship part, how that internship helped you, okay, and how what all points you have learned from that internship, okay, and also mention your company name and the company details as well, right? Why it is important to mention those company details? So that how much understanding you have from that company, right? Once you did all this part, then you can look for summary, right? What you will write in your summary? Then you will write in your summary like, I am a person who is well versed into this particular. Uh, you should add more eye-catching and tricky words. Like it should be, I am well versed and a professional in the field of AI and data science, so that that AI and data science and that professional word gets highlighted. So like I will share you some stats about the HRs and about the resumes. Only 6 to 7 seconds per resume, okay, the HRs provide to every resume. If at all your resume got selected, then only you get like 20 seconds or more, right? Or else it's like big to back to trash. So this is how your resume should be eye catching. If at all someone swipes it, okay, there are some key points, okay, let's move to it. So this is how it works. Now the things are moving towards the digitization, right? So now the HR is also looking towards the digitization. So I will help you with some more additional points. Like what are those additional points? Those additional points are nothing but your technical, your resumes are being highlighted in some other manners. Like you should create some video profiles, you should create some audio profiles, you should create some websites where you can highlight your profile, okay? So once you have created such type of a profile, then you once you have created your profile, right? So with the help of those profiles, you will be keeping aside, like they will be keeping you aside and giving you more weightage, okay? Then it will be moving towards what all points you have done, what all things you have done. Then it is the secondary part. First you need to keep yourself aside. You can create your YouTube channel, you can create your YouTube video, okay, whatever you did. So this is how you should move with it. Okay. Now moving to next point. So now LinkedIn, now Naukri.com, there are a number of portals. So they are using ATS. Sir, what is ATS? ATS is an auto tracking system, right? So where your resume gets passed, okay, and once you pass that resume, it's get filtered automatically, right? It gets filtered automatically. Now filtering that resume based on certain parameters, right? Certain parameters. So there are some key points, like there are only 5 bulletin points which are acceptable. And if you will mention some of the points under your if you will mention some of the points under your uh, tables, okay, like as the fresher used to do, they used to mention those tabular details, like your educational details in the inside your tables, right? So those details will be not accepted by your ATS, right? Because your ATS doesn't accept your tabular data. So this point you need to see. If at all you are sharing your resume to manual, okay, if you are sharing your resume manually or to HR directly, then it's okay to have that tables. But if at all you are moving with ATS or systems like that, so the reason is you should not, you should follow these points. Okay. If at all you want to know more on this point, if at all you want to build your resume perfect for the technical side as well as for the manual side, you can connect with Skill Edge. Skill Edge is a career transforming platform where where people are working rigorously to change the future of students and help them to move to the best organization with the right profiles. So please join Skill Edge and connect over those links over LinkedIn, Instagram. We are available on YouTube. We are available on Facebook. So you can connect over this link in the comment box. We will be mentioning all those links so you can connect with us and get all those information, right? Before ending this video, I will be adding one more point, guys. Try to learn more about ATS because there are only 5 fonts which are acceptable. So if at all you want to if you want to get high weightage on your profiles, you need to learn on these points. And one organization which is helping students to grow is Skill Edge. So please join Skill Edge and help the organization to make your career better and better, right? So thank you guys. I will be waiting for you. Okay. Please do comment whatever queries, whatever points you want to highlight. I will be really happy to share this point, and please do mention it.